Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Miss you guys so much. If you're new here, my name is Chris and today we're going to dive into the South Side Serpents palette by Hot Topic. This palette is inspired by Riverdale. That's a show, by the way, inspired by Archie comics. And the South Side Serpents is my favorite group from the show. Jughead is a part of this group, so we're going to go ahead and dive into this palette. This is the front of the palette. It says eyeshadow palette down below. The material, by the way, feels really good and sturdy. It feels like an actual book. And this is the back of the palette. Gives the color story, a bit of information, and things like that. This palette costs $19.90. However, it is on sale right now for 20% off, which will make it $15.92. Now, if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while now, then you know that the last time I reviewed a Hot Topic palette, I did not like it. It was the Polly Pocket palette. So with this palette, I was already going into it mentally as it's gonna suck, it's not gonna do good, but that's not the case, and I'm so happy. And it's actually a very good palette, and yes, it is on my eyes. So the palette comes with 12 eyeshadows. It has mica in it, but not talc. It has 30 grams of product. It is made in the PRC, and as for it being cruelty free, I don't see that anywhere on the shadows, but I know that Hot Topic usually is cruelty free. The inside of the palette looks like this. Comes with a mirror that says South Side Serpents, and then on the extra mirror it says Jughead Jones was here. Here are the shadows up close. They did have an imprint of Jughead's hat, but of course after going into them, you know, with the swatches and things like that, it does kind of fade just a little bit. And here's the little message from Jughead. So the color story in this palette is definitely not your normal color story that I've been at least doing on this channel lately. It's been a lot of colorful palettes. We have 7 mattes and 5 shimmers. However, I believe out of the 5, maybe like 2 are closer to a true shimmer. The other 3 are more satin. So here are the pre-recorded swatches that I already took for the palette. For each shade, there are at least 2 to 3 layers of swatching. And in this case, it means that they are buildable shadows. When it comes to swatches, you guys, sometimes a palette can swatch really horribly, sometimes it could swatch great. I try not to judge a palette off of a swatch, although sometimes you can get a bit of a hint as to how a palette can perform through a swatch. As always, I'm going to take a few right now to show you live. Let's go ahead and start off with this purple, which is more of a shimmer. Let's take the blue, which is also supposed to be a shimmer, but it's more satin. Let's take black, because let's be honest, black is not easy to make. And let's take the white, because I want to show you guys exactly how it looks as a swatch. Now here we go. Here is purple. Here is the blue. Here's black. And here is the white. Boom. So like I said, I did have to layer the swatches and things like that. On my list for this eye look, I didn't put any type of primer. I only used concealer and it was already set. As for brushes today, I used the GLF Cosmetics double-ended brush that came in the Princesa Azteca 2 palette. And then I used one of the Morphe smaller brushes because I just love this brush so much. And I went ahead and I used a color switch for when I want to use more than one color with the same brush. So I used 7 out of 12 shadows for this eye look today. I started off with Betty as my base shade. It pretty much is very close to my skin tone, so I thought that it would be best to use as a base. Next, I went ahead into South Side, which is this black matte. I wanted to show you guys how pigmented this is, especially with no primer. I'm very impressed with the formula in this shadow. So I went ahead and I packed this out in the outer corner, and it was literally 2 seconds to do. Not hard, not difficult at all. Next, I went into Serpent, which is this green in the center. It does have a little bit of glitter up top, but I wouldn't say that I see a ton of glitter on my lids. There's a tiny bit of glitter, but you honestly cannot see it. So if you're looking at this and you're like, oh my god, I love the glitter, don't expect much glitter on the lids. However, it's still very pretty green. Next is Separate. I went with Weirdo because I wanted to do a kind of ombre effect, going from light green to dark green to black, and of course it did not disappoint. Very pigmented like the other shadows. Honestly, these shadows work even better when you go in with your finger, but you really don't have to do that. It shows up with a brush. I am tearing so freaking much. Moving along, I went into Riverdale, which was the white. I wanted to use this specific shade because I wanted to see if it actually worked, and it does. You can see it on my lids. It's very beautiful. It definitely pops, and again with no primer. That's really impressive, you guys, especially for a Hot Topic palette. For my lower lash line, I went ahead and used the same brush but switched to the bottom, and I took Blossom and I ran it under the entire lower lash line. Again, super pigmented. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, you guys. It showed up with little to no effort. As for shimmer, I went down into Pop, which is more of a light silver shimmer. I went ahead and I put it on my brow bone, and then I put it in the inner corner of my eye. This one is more on the sheer side. When you wet it, it comes out much better, and that kind of works for every single shimmer in this palette. After that, I put on some lashes and liner, and that's it, you guys. This is the eye look that I came up with, and this palette just really changed my mind about Hot Topic, and I'm really happy that it did well, because after the Polly Pocket one, I was just like, ugh. So let me know your thoughts on this palette. Let me know if you're gonna get it. Let me know if you're gonna start watching Riverside, or if you do already, let me know your thoughts on that. And of course, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.